Have you ever heard the term good gut bacteria and thought, that sounds scientific, but what does it have to do with me? Imagine waking up one morning feeling light in your body, clear in your mind, and genuinely happy without even needing that first cup of coffee. Your skin glows, you sleep deeply at night, and your weight feels easier to manage. Sounds like a skincare commercial, right? But no. This is actually the gift of the tiny living organisms inside you. Your good gut bacteria, according to recent Research Center et al. 2016, our intestines house around 100 trillion bacteria spanning over 10,000 different species. And here's the incredible part. When we learn how to care for them and help them thrive, our entire life changes. So, what exactly do gut bacteria do? How can we increase their numbers tenfold through simple daily habits? And can that really help us rejuvenate from within? In today's video, I'll take you on a deep dive into the fascinating mechanisms of gut bacteria, the Kanji solution, a traditional fermented drink from India, and smart lifestyle strategies to nourish long-term health. Stay with me until the end, because in the closing, I'll share a special life lesson that I believe everyone needs to hear at least once in their lifetime. Let's go. So, what exactly are gut bacteria, and are they really worth our attention? The answer is not only are they worth it, they are absolutely essential. Inside your intestines lives a complex ecosystem called the microbiome, made up of bacteria, viruses, yeasts, and other microorganisms. Among them, gut bacteria make up the majority. And they don't just reside there passively, they work for you every single day. They help break down complex foods that your small intestine can't digest on its own. They produce short-chain fatty acids (SCFAs), which reduce inflammation and provide energy to your cells. They generate up to 90% of the body's serotonin, the so-called happiness hormone. Et al. 2015, they interact with your immune system, strengthening your body's defenses against harmful bacteria. They communicate with your brain through the gut-brain axis, influencing mood, sleep, and focus. Let me give you a simple metaphor. Think of your gut as a garden. Gut bacteria are the gardeners. They keep the soil healthy, water the plants at the right time, and pull out the weeds. If the gardeners are strong, the garden thrives. But if they're weak or missing, weeds overrun and the plants wither. And here's the most important takeaway I want you to remember from this part. A healthy body starts with a healthy microbiome. Next, we're going to explore what's been silently killing off these tiny helpers, so you know exactly what to avoid before you start rebuilding and nourishing them. We've just explored how important good gut bacteria are, but here's the sad truth. Most of us are unknowingly killing them off every single day. Culprit number 1. Ultra-processed foods and sugar candy, soda, potato chips, instant noodles. They're packed with preservatives, refined sugars, and industrial oils. These act like chemical weed killers, wiping out both the bad bacteria and the good. Culprit number 2, chronic stress, worried about work, finances, relationships. Cortisol, the stress hormone, thins your gut lining and disrupts the bacterial ecosystem. One study, Knowles et al. 2008, found that long-term stress significantly reduces microbiome diversity. Culprit number 3, antibiotics, smoking, alcohol. Antibiotics don't discriminate, they clear the battlefield entirely. Smoking and heavy drinking strip away the natural environment good bacteria need, triggering chronic gut inflammation. Here's a metaphor to make this hit home. Imagine hosting a beautiful party at home, but the guests start smashing furniture, throwing things around, and trashing the place. That's exactly how junk food, chronic stress, and medications destroy the delicate microbial home inside you. So, how do we rebuild? In the next part, I'll share an inspiring true story, so you can see firsthand how change is possible. Let me tell you about Mark, a 52-year-old successful entrepreneur, but one who was constantly exhausted. Mark shared, "I thought I was just getting older. I struggled with insomnia, frequent headaches, bloating, mood swings. I went to doctors, got sleeping pills, antacids, but nothing really helped. Then one day, Mark stumbled upon a podcast discussing the gut microbiome. He started reading and soon realized he had been starving his army of good bacteria for years. Mark began making gradual changes, adding fermented foods like yogurt and sauerkraut, cutting back on sugar and fried foods, practicing deep breathing and 5-minute morning meditations. And most intriguingly, he started drinking something unfamiliar, something we'll explore in the next part: Kanji. The results after just 3 months. Mark said, "I had my first truly restful sleep in 5 years. I felt calmer handling work stress, my digestion lightened up, and I even lost 3 kilograms without dieting." Now, I'm not telling you this story to claim that one magical drink will fix everything, but it proves one powerful point. When you care for your gut bacteria, your entire self begins to transform. And that brings us to the most exciting part: discovering Kanji, the traditional fermented drink from India that's now catching the attention of health experts worldwide. Kanji, it may sound like the name of some exotic dish, but in reality, it's a traditional fermented drink from India that has existed for centuries. Kanji is typically made from beetroot, rich in fiber, vitamins, and minerals, giving it a vibrant red color. Mustard seeds, providing natural enzymes to kickstart fermentation. Amla Indian gooseberry, packed with vitamin C and antioxidants. Himalayan pink salt, helping balance essential minerals. The process of making Kanji is surprisingly simple. 1. Slice the beetroot into small pieces, keep the skin on to preserve natural bacteria. To place it into a clean glass jar, add chlorine-free water. 3. Add mustard seeds, sliced amla, and pink salt. Cover the jar loosely and let it ferment at room temperature for 36 to 72 hours or longer in cooler weather. 5. Drink 1 to 2 glasses daily, storing the rest in the refrigerator. How does it work? During fermentation, beneficial microbes multiply, creating probiotics, short-chain fatty acids (SCFAs), and digestive enzymes. When you drink Kanji, you directly enrich your gut microbiome, helping restore balance and diversity. What's particularly fascinating is that Kanji isn't just a piece of folk tradition. Many modern nutritionists now recommend natural fermented drinks over probiotic capsules as they offer greater diversity and bioavailability. Marco et al., 2017. And what do I personally love about Kanji? It's not just about improving your health, it's about connecting with an ancient cultural heritage, reminding us that nature has always offered solutions to human needs. In the next part, I'll break down the science even further so you can understand why drinks like Kanji have such a remarkable impact. Now, let's dive into what I like to call the scientific magic behind Kanji and other fermented drinks. Probiotics, the beneficial bacteria. During fermentation, bacteria transform the natural sugars in plants into lactic acid, enzymes, and natural antimicrobial compounds. When you drink Kanji, these probiotics enter your gut and help repopulate and balance your microbiome. Short-chain fatty acids (SCFAs), the unsung heroes. Probiotics help produce SCFAs like butyrate, propionate, and acetate, tiny molecules that play enormous roles. They reduce intestinal inflammation and lower the risk of colon cancer. Prebiotics et al., 2019. They provide fuel for your intestinal cells. They influence the brain through the gut-brain axis, improving mood and reducing anxiety and depression. Kryan et al., 2019. Gut-brain axis, the gut-brain connection. Here's something you might not know. Your gut and brain are in constant communication via the vagus nerve, hormones, and immune signals. When your microbiome is healthy, your brain receives positive signals. When your microbiome is disrupted, your brain experiences stress as well. Karabati et al., 2015. Here's an easy metaphor. Think of your gut as the power plant and your brain as the corporate office. If the plant generates clean, steady energy, the office runs smoothly. But if the plant goes offline, chaos follows everywhere. That's why people who drink kanji, kefir, kombucha, and similar fermented drinks often report not just better digestion, but improved sleep, reduced anxiety, and an overall sense of well-being. But how can we explain all this to someone who doesn't care much for data and studies? Let me walk you through a fun and simple analogy in the next part. Let's set aside all the complex scientific jargon for a moment. I want to invite you to picture something simple. Your gut is like a garden dot in this garden. The good bacteria are the flowers, the fruit trees, the bees and butterflies that pollinate. The bad bacteria are the weeds, pests, and blight. The foods you eat are the water, fertilizer, and sunlight that nourish the garden. If you tend to it properly, the garden blooms, the trees are heavy with fruit, and everything thrives. But if you pour in sugary water, toxic chemicals, or simply neglect it, within weeks the weeds take over, the flowers wilt, and the soil becomes barren. Kanji acts like a living fertilizer, helping the plants flourish and pushing back the weeds. But here's the key: fertilizer alone isn't enough. You also need sunlight, meaning a healthy lifestyle, clean water, meaning proper nutrition, and most importantly, a dedicated gardener. And that gardener is you. Caring for your gut bacteria isn't a one-time magic trick. It's a long-term relationship, and that brings us to the next part. I'll walk you through exactly what to eat, what to avoid, and how to live in a way that truly nourishes your inner garden. We've talked a lot about probiotics, the beneficial bacteria, but there's another part that's just as important: prebiotics, the food that nourishes your good bacteria. You can think of it this way: probiotics equals the plants or seeds, prebiotics equals the fertilizer and water. If you only take probiotics without giving them prebiotics, it's like inviting guests to a dinner party and forgetting to serve any food. They're not going to stick around. Some excellent prebiotic foods: green unripe bananas, cooked and cooled potatoes, chia seeds, flax seeds, cashews, almonds. Garlic, onions, broccoli, cabbage, apple peels, pear peels, don't throw them away. Psyllium husk, a superfood fiber. Source: smart habits to adopt, reduce refined sugars, fried foods, ultra-processed snacks. Eat until you're 75% full, not stuff. Try intermittent fasting once or twice a week. Get enough sleep. Move your body: walking, yoga, deep breathing. Things to avoid: smoking, excessive alcohol, overusing antibiotics, chronic stress, burnout. Here's a playful analogy I often share with my students: don't invite an entire orchestra into your belly and then forget to give them instruments. Prebiotics are the instruments that allow your microbiome orchestra to play the symphony of health. In the next part, I'll share a touching story with you about a mother whose life and her child's were transformed simply by caring for their gut bacteria. Let me share with you a true story, one I've never forgotten. Anna, an American mother, has a 7-year-old son diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. He often had emotional outbursts, struggled with sleep, suffered from chronic constipation, and could barely focus during learning. Anna had tried everything: behavioral therapy, speech therapy, educational interventions, but saw little progress. Then, by chance, Anna came across a scientific article about the gut-brain axis. Multiple studies, such as Adams et al. 2011, have documented the link between abnormal microbiomes and neurological challenges in children with autism. Anna decided to try something new, dramatically reducing sugar and ultra-processed foods, adding yogurt, kefir, and fermented drinks, at times even making homemade kanji, increasing fiber and prebiotics in her son's meals. 6 months later, Anna shared in a support group, "My son didn't suddenly recover from autism, but he's sleeping better, has fewer meltdowns, his digestion has improved, and somehow he feels closer to me. That's a gift I never dared to hope for." Now, I'm not sharing this story to claim that gut health is some kind of miracle cure. but I do believe it's an important and often overlooked part of the journey toward mental and physical well-being. In the final part, I'll help you connect all we've learned today and leave you with a message that I truly hope you'll carry with you after this video. My dear friend, we've been on quite a journey together over these past 20+ minutes. We've explored what gut bacteria are and what they do inside your body. We've uncovered the everyday habits that are silently destroying your gut microbiome. We've heard inspiring stories from Mark, the 52-year-old man reclaiming his health, to Anna, the courageous mother walking alongside her son on a unique path. We've learned about natural solutions like Kanji, Prebiotics, and lifestyle changes. And most importantly, we've understood that no miracle happens overnight, but small, consistent changes each day can lead to extraordinary results. Remember this, you are not just nourishing yourself, you are nurturing an entire tiny universe inside you, and that universe, in turn, is nourishing every cell, every emotion, every thought you have. And now, it's your turn to take action. Comment below the video. What was the most valuable insight you took away today? If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like. It's the simplest way to help support this channel. Subscribe and turn on notifications because I'll be sharing more meaningful content about health, mindset, and how we can live our fullest lives. And please share this video with someone you think needs to hear this message. Maybe your parents, a friend struggling with health challenges, or simply someone you care about. Thank you for staying with me until the very end. Take care of your gut bacteria, and they will take care of you in ways you never imagined. See you next time.